Of all the studies we've covered on Quick Takes, today's might turn out to be the most impactful. You'll want to pay attention to this one. A little over a year ago, we discussed the FDA's approval of donanemab, an intravenous monoclonal antibody treatment for Alzheimer's that, along with several other similar medications, represented a major breakthrough in the field, slowing cognitive decline in a more meaningful way than had been seen previously with oral medications. 1 year later, lecanemab and donanemab are now gold standard treatments for Alzheimer's disease, offered via weekly or monthly infusions at many major medical centers. That's really great news for patients and families, but we still haven't discovered a medication that is capable of reversing the cognitive decline, or better yet, preventing it in the first place for patients who may be at risk. That would really be the holy grail of Alzheimer's treatments. We aren't there yet, but a new study raises the question of whether the Holy Grail has been hiding right under our noses this whole time. That would be, of course, an apt metaphor for Alzheimer's disease, where anosmia often precedes cognitive decline by months to years. A new study published in Nature earlier this year offers some hope for a eureka moment. I'm Scott Beach, and this is Quick Takes for the Psychopharmacology Institute. The study, led by Bruce Yankner at Harvard, analyzed 27 metals to see if any were depleted in the brains of individuals with mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's. Interestingly, they found that lithium was already low in patients with mild cognitive impairment and was further depleted by sequestration in amyloid plaques once patients began forming them. Next, they removed lithium from the diet of mice, including those with a mouse model of Alzheimer's. Reduction of lithium in the diet by 50% led to the formation of beta amyloid and tau plaques, as well as to microglial activation and accelerated cognitive decline. Finally, the authors supplemented the mouse diet with lithium orotate, finding that it prevented the pathological changes and cognitive decline in both normal mice and those with the mouse model of Alzheimer's. Amazingly, supplementation with lithium orotate actually restored synapses and reversed memory loss in the Alzheimer's mice. The authors hypothesize that sequestration of lithium by amyloid plaques depletes lithium levels in specific brain regions, such as the prefrontal cortex. Lower lithium levels then impair microglial clearance of plaques, which in turn leads to greater lithium sequestration. Simultaneously, lithium depletion may lead to increased tau accumulation, which causes inflammation, leading to the loss of synapses, axons, and myelin. This theory is notable because it presents a unifying hypothesis of the various changes that take place in the brains of patients with Alzheimer's. So, what is lithium orotate? Well, importantly, it's different from other forms of lithium that we typically use in psychiatry to treat, for example, bipolar disorder, which include lithium carbonate and lithium citrate. Those forms of lithium actually do tend to be sequestered by amyloid plaques. This could explain why the commonly used forms of lithium haven't been observed to prevent or reverse cognitive decline in patients with mood disorders. But lithium orotate is unique in the fact that it is not attracted to the negatively charged amyloid plaques, allowing it to avoid sequestration. Scientists are optimistic that lithium orotate may also avoid the long-term side effects that plague chronic lithium use, especially in older patients, which include kidney and thyroid disease. In the mouse models in this study, there were no toxic effects observed. It's also worth noting that the doses used were dramatically lower than doses we would think about for mood disorders. Instead of 300 to 1200 milligrams, the typical supplementation dose for lithium orotate is 5 milligrams, though it's unclear whether this dose will be sufficient in humans. Lithium orotate is already available as an over-the-counter supplement at drugstores and online. It's available to buy on Amazon. A big question that I've heard since this study was published is whether we should be recommending lithium orotate for our patients with Alzheimer's or those at risk, or even taking it ourselves. While some psychiatrists and neurologists have started advocating for this, in every interview he has done, Dr. Yankner has made it clear that he doesn't recommend this. Yet. There is still too much unknown about the long-term effects of lithium orotate in humans, and he also points out that the supplement industry is so poorly regulated that you often don't know what you're actually taking. His research group is planning to launch a clinical trial in patients soon, but until then, the recommendation is to not start recommending it for our patients. I have to imagine, though, that for patients and families already living with the illness, there will be some who view the potential benefits as significantly outweighing the risks and may start supplementing on their own. So it's probably worth talking to patients about and asking them about. In the meantime, lithium is found naturally in several foods. These include nuts, leafy greens, and cereal, as well as lentils, which actually have the highest lithium content of any food. I found this interesting because it has been observed for some time now that sticking to a diet similar to that eaten in certain parts of India may reduce the risk for Alzheimer's. Perhaps this observation also has something to do with intake of high lithium content foods like lentils. There are, of course, lots of caveats here, the biggest one being that mice are not people. Lots of therapies have shown great promise in mouse models only to have disappointing results in humans, so we certainly shouldn't jump to any premature conclusions. Lots more data is needed before lithium orotate is ready for prime time. However, if the clinical trials turn out to be successful, this is the kind of finding that would be Nobel Prize worthy. It builds on the work of many others, going back at least 20 years, showing potential benefit for lithium therapy in cognitive decline in mouse models, and even some reduced risk of Alzheimer's among individuals drinking lithium-enhanced water. But this latest study is really a potential game changer. It's certainly the most exciting paper I've read this year.